To the class of 2014, you are moments away from graduating, moments away from beginning your journey through life, moments away from starting to change the world for the better. It will not be easy, but you are the class of 2014, the class that can affect the lives of 800 million people in the next century. Start each day with a task completed. Find someone to help you through life. Respect everyone. Know that life is not fair and that you will fail often. But if you take some risks, step up when the times are the toughest, face down the bullies, lift up the downtrodden, and never ever give up. If you do these things, the next generation and the generations that follow will live in a world far better than the one we have today. And what started here will indeed have changed the world for the better. Thank you very much. Hook 'em horns.
I am the first woman to be president of the European Commission. I am the president of the European Commission. And this is how I expected to be treated when visiting Turkey 2 weeks ago, like a Commission president. But I was not. I cannot find any justification for what I was treated in the European treaties. So I have to conclude that it happened because I am a woman.
You will never, never be a woman.
Go get the shot.
They shooting.
TrampleOnSnakes.
I made you look.
Is worrying health officials who call mass vaccinations the only path to a return to normalcy. Almost 4 months into the vaccination effort, providers are beginning to run out of people who want to be immunized. Immunized. Immunized.
And he didn't just say what he just said. No, we're not going to gloss over that. We're going to address this. Euthanize, huh? Keep thinking we're conspiracy theorists, though.
TrampleOnSnakes.
In this video we're going to look at the radicalization of racial policy towards Nazi euthanasia.
Still waiting for a big smile out of you. You're up 2-0. What's the story? Are you not happy, or you're only half happy, or?
Still to be happy about.
You're up 2-0.
Job's not finished. Job finished? I don't think so.
Researchers are working on the next phase of the fight against the coronavirus, protecting young children. Both Pfizer and Moderna are in active clinical trials for their vaccines with children under the age of 16, under the age of 16, under the age of 16.
And now researchers are hard at work conducting vaccine trials on the youngest generation, which many doctors believe is crucial to reaching herd immunity. Today, kids as young as 6 months old are taking part in trials for both Moderna and Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccines with their parents' consent.
Far, far away.
Doctors Good enrolled both her sons in Stanford Hospital's Pfizer trial. 7-month-old Soren, one of the youngest in the trial, received his first shot last week. Mom says he's doing well. His older brother, 3-year-old Andal, also got the shot.
Did he experience any side effects from the vaccine? He had a sore arm for a day and was a little bit low in energy for like a day, but that's
Dr. Good is an immunologist who has studied the virus at length and says she and her husband are confident in the safety of the vaccine. Dr. Angela LaCour's 3-year-old daughter is also in the trial.
Hey, how about that? That's it.
Look at you, brave kid.
Gosh, you are the bravest.
She says she feels strongly that doing this isn't just about keeping her child safe.
We're just so lucky that we have a healthy child, and so grateful that she's able to be part of this.
Researchers refer to this as a dosing trial as they try to figure out how much of the vaccine kids can tolerate.
Not knowing if this is the kind of virus that would come back later in life, like those things concern me. And we know that she'd probably be fine if she got COVID now, but who knows what would happen down the road. So again, protecting her in that way brings us a lot of comfort.
We have to change that, and we can. Let's do what we talked about for all the years I was down here in this body, in Congress. Let's do what we talked about for all the years I was down here in this body.
Ich bin noch nicht an diesen neuen Körper gewöhnt, aber bald.
Union with the Lord, her son.
All my life I waited to hear the voice of God inside of me.
For all the years I was down here in this body. That we're not going to seek excuse me. They should know we will follow them to the gates of hell. We went to Afghanistan to get the terrorists who attacked us on 9/11. And we said we would follow Osama bin Laden to the gates of hell to do it. The gates of hell. If you've been in the upper Konar Valley, you've kind of seen the gates of hell. I have never been more confident or optimistic about America. Not because I'm president, because what's happening with the American people. We've stared into the abyss. We've stared into the abyss. We've stared into the abyss. We've stared into the abyss.
Evil's being let out of the pit right now. I can feel it rising.
These fallen angels.
The demons.
Entities.
International help is being pledged for India as it battles a ferocious second wave of coronavirus, described by Prime Minister Narendra Modi as a storm that has shaken the nation.
The capital is being ravaged at a frightening speed. With every fire that burns, India's self-belief is dying. Each funeral is a story of personal loss and national shame. Charanjeev Malhotra has been helping to cremate the dead for decades. Now, he barely ever stops working.
New World Order.
The old Phoenician.
Ruhe! Ruhe bitte! Ruhe bitte im Saal! Das Endergebnis lautet 38:13 für das Ermächtigungsgesetz. Damit wird unsere Demokratie doch zur Farce! Das fechten wir vor Gericht an! Das lassen die Leute nicht mit sich machen! Das ist verfassungswidrig! Sie Faschisten!
But then, this new parliament passes the Enabling Act in March. Enabling Act, which is essentially an amendment to the Weimar Constitution, which gives the cabinet, especially the chancellor, effectively the chancellor, who's the head of the cabinet, legislative powers, unlimited legislative powers for the next 4 years. So it gives legislative powers. And remember, we already have suspended civil rights, so the Reichstag is essentially giving over the legislative powers to the chancellor, who happens to be Hitler.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel is set to take power away from the 16 federal states to decide on coronavirus restrictions. A new plan will see the central government take over when infection numbers rise to a certain level. Germany is battling a brutal third wave, and regional decision-making has led to a confusing patchwork approach.
So we could see action as early as this weekend and beginning of next week that will change the federal infectious disease laws in order to give the federal government more power. And many citizens would say this is long overdue.
Today, the cabinet here in Berlin agreed to approve new national measures to try to bring down infection rates. These new measures require a change in the law to allow what is being called an emergency brake to be imposed in all parts of the country if certain conditions are met. Now, this new law would oblige all regions to implement this emergency brake if there are more than 100 COVID cases per 100,000 people in a 7-day period. Then a curfew would be imposed between the hours of 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. and then all non-essential shops would also be closed.
In order to improve the situation and to slow down the third wave, to break it and turn it around, the measures implemented thus far by the state and regions don't go far enough. Our response to the pandemic must be more stringent and consequential.
Let's bring in our chief political editor, Michaela Kufner, who is standing outside of the chancellery for us. Michaela, you were listening into the chancellor's message. Tell us more about what she had to say.
Well, she basically called this step of now implementing a national drive, a national emergency brake, as a long overdue, as setting the corona fight on a new footing. And what that means is that Angela Merkel took Germany's corona response next level. Instead of continuing to gather the 16 state premiers around her, getting an agreed paper, and then everybody going into their federal state and doing whatever they like, pretty much, she's now making this legally binding. Well, she doesn't mean that she can do it alone. She still needs that signature on the dotted line by enough MPs. She's taking this to Parliament and she's getting the states to agree to it.
73.